Chosen one, your wealth is closer than ever. I repeat, your wealth is closer than ever. And there are signs that confirm it. Signs you may have noticed but didn't know how to interpret. Signs that have been appearing in your life, quietly, consistently, pointing to something approaching. You are not here by accident. This moment was arranged by heaven with precision. What you are hearing right now is not random content. It is a divine appointment, a signal that you are standing at the edge of something supernatural. I see you. I see the subtle shifts happening in your life that you haven't fully explained. I see the internal changes that don't yet match your external circumstances. I see the quiet knowing inside you that something is about to break through, and I am here to confirm what your spirit has been sensing. Chosen one, the spiritual realm always sends indicators before manifestations arrive, just as clouds gather before rain, just as labor pains increase before birth, just as dawn lightens the sky before the sun appears. There are signs that precede wealth, and those signs have been appearing in your life. What you have been experiencing is not coincidence, it is confirmation, not wishful thinking, not false hope, but genuine spiritual indicators that the provision you have been believing for is closer than it has ever been. This message will reveal 7 specific signs that your wealth is approaching. These are not superficial signs, they are not the signs most people expect. They are internal shifts that heaven produces when external manifestation is imminent, and if you recognize them in your own life, it means what you have been waiting for is almost here. Stay with me. What you are about to hear will give language to experiences you couldn't explain, and it will confirm that the waiting season is reaching its end. I know what you have carried to arrive at this moment. You have worked hard for years without the results matching your effort. You have believed when belief seemed foolish. You have held on to promises that others told you to release. You have maintained faith in seasons when faith was the only thing you had left, and somewhere along that journey doubt crept in. Not the kind of doubt that makes you quit, but the kind that whispers questions late at night. Is it really coming? Did I hear correctly? Have I been waiting for something that was never mine? I understand those questions. I have asked them myself. In seasons where the gap between promise and reality seemed impossible to bridge, I wondered if I was deceiving myself, if the hope I carried was just a coping mechanism for a life that would never actually change. But chosen one, hear this. Something inside you has known the truth even when your mind doubted it. There has been a persistent sense, a quiet certainty beneath the surface confusion that would not let you give up completely. That knowing was not delusion, it was discernment, your spirit recognizing what your circumstances could not yet show you. And now things are beginning to shift, not dramatically on the outside yet, but noticeably on the inside. You feel different, you perceive differently, your tolerance for certain things has changed, your peace operates differently than it used to. These internal shifts are the signs I will explain today. The 7 signs you are about to hear will confirm what your spirit already knows. They will bring clarity to experiences you sensed but couldn't articulate, and they will position you to receive what is approaching with the readiness it requires. This is not motivation designed to make you feel temporarily better. This is prophetic revelation about the season you are standing in. Scripture tells us that the vision waits for its appointed time. It hastens toward its goal and will not prove false. Though it lingers, wait for it, because it will certainly come. You have been in the lingering season, the waiting season, the season where the promise was given but the manifestation was delayed. That season has purpose. It develops character that quick blessing would never build. But that season also has an end, and the signs indicate that the end is approaching. God has always sent signs before sending provision. He told Noah to build before the rain. He showed Joseph dreams before the palace. He positioned Elijah at the brook before the widow's miracle. The signs come first. The manifestation follows. This is the divine pattern. What I am about to share with you are the signs that appear when wealth is imminent, not distant hope, imminent manifestation. These signs are different from the general indicators people talk about. They are specific internal shifts that heaven produces when external change is about to materialize. If you stay with this message until the end, you will be able to assess where you are in the process. You will recognize which signs are already present in your life, and you will understand that what has felt like endless waiting is actually the final stage before the breakthrough arrives. Subscribe now so we stay connected. This channel carries words that confirm what heaven is already doing in your life, and comment 777 as your declaration, not for performance but as acknowledgement that you recognize these signs and you are ready to receive what they indicate. Comment your city or nation as well. Let that marker become testimony of where this word landed, where these signs are being recognized, where wealth is approaching because preparation has been completed. Listen until the very end. The 7 signs build upon each other, and the final sign may be the confirmation you have been waiting for. Before I reveal the 7 signs, I need you to understand something important. The signs that indicate approaching wealth are not what most people expect. Most people look for external indicators, unexpected money appearing, opportunities suddenly opening, connections mysteriously forming, and while those can certainly occur, they are not the primary signs that wealth is imminent. The primary signs are internal. They are shifts that happen inside you before anything shifts outside you. They are changes in how you perceive, how you feel, how you respond, how you discern. These internal shifts are heaven's way of preparing the vessel before filling it. Think about this. If God is about to release significant wealth into your life, He must first ensure you are ready to carry it. He must adjust your internal capacity to match the external increase. Otherwise, the wealth would destabilize rather than bless. So the signs I am about to share are not superficial. They are the evidence of internal preparation reaching completion. They indicate that the vessel is ready, that the character is established, that the foundation can support what is about to be built upon it. As you listen, I want you to honestly assess which of these signs are present in your life. Not which ones you wish were present, not which ones you think should be present, but which ones actually match your current experience. The more signs you recognize, the closer you are to manifestation. Let me also say this clearly. These signs are not meant to create false hope. If you examine your life honestly and do not recognize these signs, that does not mean wealth will never come. It means more preparation may be needed, and that is valuable information. It allows you to cooperate with the process rather than wonder why manifestation hasn't arrived. But if you recognize 3, 4, 5 or more of these signs, chosen one, what you have been waiting for is extremely close, closer than you realize, and this message will confirm that. The first sign that your wealth is closer than ever is this: your peace is no longer dependent on your circumstances. Let me explain what this means and why it matters. For most of your life, your internal state has been connected to your external conditions. When things were going well, you felt peace. When things were difficult, anxiety arose. When money was present, calm existed. When money was absent, stress dominated. This is normal human experience. The inside tends to mirror the outside, but something has shifted. You have noticed a peace that doesn't make logical sense, a calm that exists despite unchanged circumstances, a stability that remains even when the situation says you should be worried. This is not denial. You are not pretending problems don't exist. You are not suppressing anxiety through willpower. The peace is genuine. It flows without effort. It remains without maintenance. It exists even when you examine your circumstances and see reasons for concern. Chosen one, this unexplainable peace is one of the clearest signs that provision is imminent. Here is why. When wealth is approaching, God begins to prepare your nervous system to carry it. Wealth brings pressure that anxiety cannot manage, decisions that stress cannot navigate, responsibilities that worry cannot sustain. If your internal state is still tied to external conditions, wealth would actually destabilize you rather than bless you. So before wealth arrives, God establishes a peace in you that is anchored in something deeper than circumstances. A peace that comes from trust, from alignment, from spiritual security that does not fluctuate with what you see. I experienced this personally before my own breakthrough. There came a point where the worry that had been my constant companion simply dissolved. Not because anything external changed, my situation was still challenging, but the anxiety about it disappeared, and in its place came a quiet confidence that everything was going to be okay. At first I questioned it. Was I becoming delusional? Was I losing touch with reality? But the peace was not ignorance. I was fully aware of my circumstances. The peace was something operating beneath my awareness of circumstances, something deeper governing something surface. That peace was the sign. Within months of that shift, the external breakthrough arrived. The provision that had been promised manifested. and when it came, I understood why the peace had to come first. Without it, the wealth would have created anxiety rather than relieved it, because wealth brings its own pressures that only deep peace can navigate. Chosen one, examine your life. Has your peace shifted? Do you carry a calm that your circumstances don't justify? Is there a stability in you that wasn't there before? If so, this is sign number one. Your wealth is closer than ever. Your nervous system is being prepared to carry what is coming. The peace came first because the provision is imminent, and the provision requires the foundation that peace provides. Let me go deeper on this sign because it is foundational. This peace I am describing is not passive, it is not resignation, it is not giving up and accepting less. It is a settled confidence that comes from a source beyond your circumstances. You still desire change, you still expect breakthrough, you still anticipate manifestation, but the anxiety about whether it will happen has dissolved. The worry about timing has released. The fear that maybe you heard wrong has quieted. This peace allows you to make better decisions in the waiting period. Where anxiety would push you toward hasty choices, peace allows you to wait for aligned opportunities. Where worry would cause you to grab anything available, peace enables you to hold for what is truly yours. I want to speak directly to anyone who is not yet experiencing this peace. Your wealth may still be coming, but there may be internal work remaining. Ask God to establish this peace in you. Surrender the anxiety you have been carrying. Allow the nervous system preparation to complete. The peace is not just a nice feeling, it is equipment you will need. And for those who recognize this peace in your life right now, take it as the sign it is. Your wealth is approaching. The internal preparation is evident. What you feel is not wishful thinking. It is prophetic positioning. The second sign that your wealth is closer than ever is this: your tolerance for what is beneath you has collapsed. Things you once accepted now feel unbearable. Situations you once endured now feel intolerable. Conversations, environments, relationships, behaviors that you used to accommodate without resistance now create immediate friction inside you. This is not you becoming arrogant or difficult. This is your spirit recognizing elevation before your circumstances reflect it. Let me explain. When someone is about to be promoted in any realm, their capacity shifts before their position does. They begin to think differently, perceive differently, tolerate differently. The old level becomes uncomfortable not because it became worse, but because they outgrew it. You may have noticed that certain conversations that once felt normal now drain you completely. People talking about the same problems without any intention of solving them. Gossip that you once participated in without thinking now feels exhausting. Negativity that used to be background noise now feels like weight you cannot carry. You may have noticed that certain environments no longer fit. Workplaces that you tolerated now feel suffocating. Social settings that you once enjoyed now feel empty. Spaces that were acceptable before now feel like they're shrinking around you. You may have noticed that certain relationships have become uncomfortable, not because conflict arose, but because alignment disappeared. People you once felt close to now feel distant, even when you're in the same room. Connections that worked before no longer work, and you cannot fully explain why. Chosen one, this collapse of tolerance is a sign that elevation is imminent. Your spirit already knows where you're going, even if your mind doesn't, and it can no longer settle for spaces that won't exist in your next level. I remember this shift vividly. Before my breakthrough, I became increasingly uncomfortable in situations I had accepted for years. Jobs that were tolerable became unbearable. Conversations that were normal became draining. Relationships that functioned became strained. At first I thought something was wrong with me. Why was I suddenly so dissatisfied? Why couldn't I just accept things the way I used to? But looking back, I understand what was happening. My internal capacity was being upgraded, and the old level could no longer contain the expansion. The discomfort was not a problem to solve, it was a sign to recognize. It was my spirit refusing to settle, because settling was no longer aligned with my destiny. Shortly after that period of intense discomfort with my circumstances, everything shifted. New opportunities appeared, new relationships formed, new environments opened, and those new spaces fit in a way the old ones never did. Chosen one, examine your life. Has your tolerance collapsed? Are things that used to be acceptable now intolerable? Are environments, conversations, and relationships that once worked now creating friction? If so, This is sign number 2. Your wealth is closer than ever. Your spirit is refusing to settle because your destiny is about to expand. This collapse of tolerance is not something to fight against. It is something to honor. When you feel the friction, do not force yourself to fit where you no longer belong. The discomfort is not a problem. It is guidance. It is showing you what must change so that what is coming has room to arrive. I have watched people fight this sign. They try to maintain connections that are fading. They force themselves into environments that drain them. They resist the internal upgrade because it feels uncomfortable, and they mistake that discomfort for something wrong. But the discomfort is actually something right. It is alignment rising. It is destiny calling. It is the future version of you refusing to let the current version settle for less than what is ordained. If you are experiencing this collapse of tolerance, do not resist it. Do not shame yourself for no longer being able to accept what you once accepted. Your standards have been elevated because your destination has been elevated. What once fit no longer fits because where you are going is different from where you have been. This sign, more than almost any other, causes confusion in the chosen ones who experience it. You wonder why you have become so sensitive, why you can no longer tolerate what everyone else seems to handle, why you feel like an outsider in places that used to be home. You are not becoming difficult. You are becoming aligned, and alignment always creates friction with misalignment. The friction will resolve when you fully transition into your new season. Until then, let it guide you. Let it show you what no longer belongs. Let it prepare you for what is coming. The third sign that your wealth is closer than ever is this: ideas and clarity are arriving without effort. Solutions are appearing that you didn't search for. Understanding is forming that you didn't study for. Insights are emerging in moments of stillness that illuminate paths you couldn't see before. This is not ordinary creativity. This is divine download. The knowledge behind your wealth is being revealed. Let me explain the significance. Wealth is never just about money arriving. It is about knowing what to do when money arrives, knowing which opportunities to pursue, knowing which investments to make, knowing which relationships to build, knowing which decisions will multiply versus which will deplete. This knowledge cannot be rushed. It must be revealed. And when the time for manifestation approaches, the revelation intensifies. Ideas that align with your purpose begin to appear. Clarity about direction becomes sharper. Confusion that once clouded your path begins to dissolve. You may have noticed that solutions to problems you've struggled with are suddenly obvious. You look at situations that confused you before, and now you see clearly what to do. The mental fog has lifted. The path forward has appeared. You may have noticed ideas appearing in unexpected moments. In the shower, while driving, in the middle of the night, while doing something completely unrelated. Thoughts that feel delivered rather than generated. Concepts that feel received rather than created. You may have noticed understanding forming about systems you never studied, business principles making sense, financial concepts clicking, patterns in how things work becoming visible, not because you researched them but because awareness is expanding. Chosen one, this arrival of effortless clarity is a sign that wealth is imminent. Heaven is downloading the knowledge you will need to steward what is coming. The revelation is preparing you for the manifestation. I experienced this intensely before my breakthrough. Ideas began arriving that I couldn't explain. Clarity about direction became sharp after years of confusion. Understanding about opportunities, relationships, and decisions formed without me searching for it. At first I thought I was just finally figuring things out, but the speed and precision of the clarity was beyond normal learning. It was revelation, information being deposited that I would need for what was coming. And when the wealth arrived, those ideas and that clarity proved essential. They were the tools I needed to steward the provision. They were the knowledge that allowed me to multiply rather than waste. Chosen one, examine your life. Are ideas arriving without effort? Is clarity forming about direction, decisions, and opportunities? Are you understanding things you never studied? If so, this is sign number 3. Your wealth is closer than ever. The knowledge behind your provision is being revealed because the provision is about to be released. Let me explain how to steward this sign properly. When ideas and clarity arrive, do not dismiss them as random thoughts. Write them down, capture them, return to them. Many chosen ones receive divine downloads but fail to document them, and the insights fade before they can be applied. Keep a journal of the ideas that arrive. Note the dates. Note the contexts. Over time, you will see patterns. You will recognize themes. You will understand the direction God is guiding you toward. Also, test the ideas against wisdom. Not every thought that arrives is divine download. Some thoughts are simply thoughts. Discernment helps you distinguish between human creativity and divine revelation. Divine downloads typically align with your purpose, create peace when considered, and prove consistent over time. The ideas that are truly from heaven will not contradict each other. They will build upon each other. They will form a coherent picture that becomes clearer as more pieces arrive. Pay attention to this coherence. It is evidence that what you are receiving is orchestrated rather than random. I also want to say this: the arrival of ideas does not mean you must act on all of them immediately. Some ideas are for now, some are for later. Part of the download includes timing. Wait for the release to act, not just the idea to form. Premature action on divine ideas can create as many problems as ignoring them entirely. The ideas and clarity arriving in your life right now are preparing you for wealth. They are the strategic intelligence you will need to steward significant resources. Receive them with gratitude, document them with discipline, and wait for the timing to apply them. The fourth sign that your wealth is closer than ever is this: old relationships are shifting or ending. Connections that have been stable for years are becoming unstable. Friendships that functioned are becoming uncomfortable. People are pulling away, or you are pulling away, often without clear reason or conflict. This relational reorganization is not random. It is divine preparation for your next level. Let me explain why this happens. Every level of life has relationships that belong to it. People who fit your struggling season may not fit your prosperous season. People who could walk with you in survival may not be equipped to walk with you in abundance. And God, knowing this, begins to reorganize your relational world before the new season arrives. You may have noticed friendships cooling without any fight. No argument happened. No offense was given. But the connection that was warm has become distant. Conversations that flowed have become forced. The relationship hasn't ended, but it has clearly changed. You may have noticed certain people pulling away from you. They call less. They engage less. They seem to be distancing themselves without explanation. You haven't done anything wrong, but the closeness is dissolving. You may have noticed yourself pulling away from certain people, losing interest in connections that once mattered, feeling unable to invest energy in relationships that used to be priorities, not from anger but from something deeper, a sense that those connections no longer fit where you're going. Chosen one, this relational shift is one of the most reliable signs that elevation is imminent. God is making room for the relationships your next level requires. He is removing connections that would become complicated when resources change. He is creating space for people who can steward the journey ahead. This process can feel painful. It can feel like loss even when it's preparation. It can trigger questions about whether something is wrong with you, whether you're becoming isolated, whether the changes are healthy. But I want to assure you from experience, the relational reorganization that precedes breakthrough is divinely orchestrated. It is protection, not punishment. It is preparation, not rejection. I went through this intensely before my own breakthrough. Relationships I thought would be permanent began to fade. People I expected to celebrate with me became distant before there was anything to celebrate. At the time it felt confusing and painful, but when the breakthrough arrived, everything made sense. The relationships that faded would not have survived my new season. The people who distanced themselves revealed through the distance that their connection was conditional, and the space that was created allowed for new relationships that were aligned with where I was going, rather than where I had been. Chosen one, examine your life. Are relationships shifting or ending without clear cause? Are friendships cooling? Are connections changing? If so, this is sign number 4. Your wealth is closer than ever. God is reorganizing your relational world to match the level you are about to enter. Let me speak to the grief that often accompanies this sign. It is painful to watch relationships shift, even when you understand the purpose, even when you trust the process. Loss is still loss. The people who are distancing were part of your life. They held space, they provided connection, and their fading creates emptiness that hurts. Allow yourself to grieve while you trust. These are not contradictory. You can honor what was while accepting what is becoming. You can miss the connections that faded while understanding why they needed to. But do not let grief become grasping. Do not try to revive what God is completing. Some relationships have served their season. Attempting to extend them beyond their assignment creates complications that delay your progress.
I also want to address the temptation to interpret this sign as rejection. When people pull away, especially people you valued, it is easy to wonder if something is wrong with you. Am I becoming difficult? Am I pushing people away? Have I done something wrong? But this relational shifting is not about your failure. It is about divine timing. The relationships that are ending were not meant to be permanent. The people who are distancing were assigned to a season, not a lifetime. Their departure is not rejection of you. It is completion of their assignment. The space they leave will not remain empty. New relationships are being prepared. People aligned with your next season are being positioned. Connections that couldn't have formed before will soon become possible. The reorganization is not just removal. It is preparation for addition. Trust the process, release with grace, and watch for the new relationships that will emerge to fill the space that is being created. The fifth sign that your wealth is closer than ever is this: your discernment about people has sharpened dramatically. You can sense alignment and misalignment more quickly than before. You detect dishonesty that you would have missed in the past. You know who is genuine and who is not, often before you have concrete evidence.
This heightened discernment is divine preparation for what wealth will attract. Let me explain why this matters. When significant resources enter your life, every kind of person is attracted. Some are aligned, many are not. Some approach with genuine celebration, others approach with hidden agendas. Some want to build with you, others want to take from you, and without sharp discernment, it becomes impossible to distinguish between them. So before wealth arrives, God sharpens your ability to sense people accurately. He increases your perception so you can protect what you're about to receive. He develops in you an almost intuitive understanding of who can be trusted and who cannot. You may have noticed that you can feel when something is off about a person before they show it, a discomfort that arises without logical explanation, a sense that someone is not what they present themselves to be, and later, that sense proves accurate. You may have noticed that you detect flattery differently now. Words that once would have felt like compliments now feel hollow. You sense when praise is genuine and when it carries agenda. You know when someone celebrates you versus when they're positioning themselves for access. You may have noticed that trust forms differently than it used to. You no longer give trust easily based on words alone. You require consistency. You observe over time. And you can sense when that observation reveals alignment versus when it reveals something hidden. Chosen one, this sharpened discernment is one of the most important signs that wealth is imminent. Because this discernment will protect what is coming. It will save you from people who would drain your resources through manipulation. It will guard you from relationships that would exploit your generosity. It will ensure that what God gives is stewarded rather than stolen. I noticed this shift significantly before my breakthrough. My ability to read people changed. Where I once took people at their word, I began to sense when words didn't match intentions. Where I once trusted easily, I began to observe carefully. And that discernment proved invaluable when wealth arrived and attracted people I would have trusted in my previous state. The discernment didn't make me cynical, it made me wise. I could still love people while discerning their motives. I could still give generously while recognizing who should receive. The sharpened perception didn't close my heart, it protected my provision. Chosen one, examine your life. Has your discernment about people sharpened? Can you sense alignment and misalignment more quickly? Do you detect motives you would have missed before? If so, this is sign number 5. Your wealth is closer than ever. God is equipping you to protect what is about to be released. Let me go deeper on how to use this discernment properly. The ability to perceive people accurately is a gift, but it must be stewarded with wisdom. Discernment is not meant to make you paranoid or suspicious of everyone. It is meant to inform your decisions about trust and access. When your discernment detects misalignment in someone, you do not necessarily need to confront them or cut them off dramatically. You simply adjust the level of access they have to your life. Some people can remain in your outer circle without being allowed into your inner circle. Some connections can continue at a surface level without becoming deep. The discernment gives you information. What you do with that information requires wisdom. Not everyone who is misaligned is evil. Some are simply operating at a different frequency. They may be good people who would not be good fits for your journey. Discernment helps you place people appropriately rather than giving everyone equal access. I also want to address the challenge of trusting your discernment when it conflicts with what you want to believe. Sometimes you will sense misalignment in people you care about, people you want to trust, people you wish were different than they are. In those moments, the temptation is to override discernment with desire. Do not do this. Your discernment has been sharpened for protection. If you override it to maintain a comfortable illusion, you expose yourself to exactly what the discernment was trying to prevent. Trust what you sense even when it is uncomfortable, especially when it is uncomfortable. The wealth that is coming will attract sophisticated people with sophisticated motives. Your discernment is your first line of defense. It will save you from partnerships that would drain you, relationships that would exploit you, and opportunities that would trap you. Trust it. It is being sharpened for a reason. The sixth sign that your wealth is closer than ever is this: you are experiencing an unexplainable confidence about the future, a certainty that something is coming even though you have no evidence, a knowing that your circumstances are about to change even though they haven't yet, a faith that feels less like effort and more like settled assurance. This confidence is not presumption, it is preparation. Your spirit has been shown what your eyes cannot yet see. Let me explain the significance. Throughout your journey, faith has likely required effort, believing demanded energy, hope needed to be maintained through discipline. But something has shifted. The belief that once felt like work now feels like rest. The hope that required maintenance now sustains itself. The faith that was effort has become certainty. This shift happens when the spirit has received confirmation that the mind hasn't yet processed. Your inner knowing has been given access to what is coming, and that knowing produces a confidence that circumstances cannot shake. You may have noticed that worry about provision has significantly decreased, not because your bank account changed, but because something deeper shifted. The anxiety that used to accompany financial thoughts has dissolved. In its place is a quiet assurance that everything is going to work out. You may have noticed that you speak about your future differently, not with desperation or wishful thinking, but with settled certainty. When you discuss what's coming, it doesn't feel like fantasy, it feels like describing something you've already seen. You may have noticed that external discouragement has less power than it used to. People can speak doubt, and it doesn't penetrate the way it once did. Bad news doesn't derail your confidence. Setbacks don't shake your certainty. There is an inner stability that external circumstances cannot disrupt. Chosen one, this unexplainable confidence is a sign that your spirit has been given access to your future. You are not believing blindly, you are knowing prophetically. Your inner world has seen what your outer world hasn't yet manifested. I remember when this confidence settled in me. After years of fighting to believe, suddenly believing required no fight. After seasons of maintaining hope through effort, hope maintained itself. The shift was distinct, and it came months before the manifestation arrived. That confidence was not arrogance, it was alignment. My spirit had been shown the reality that my circumstances would eventually reflect, and because I had seen it internally, I could wait for it externally without anxiety. When the breakthrough came, it matched what the confidence had anticipated. Not perfectly in every detail, but in essence, what I had known was coming actually came. The confidence had been accurate. It was a sign, not a delusion. Chosen one, examine your life. Do you carry an unexplainable confidence about the future? Has faith shifted from effort to assurance? Do you know something is coming, even without evidence? If so, this is sign number 6. Your wealth is closer than ever. Your spirit has already seen what your circumstances are about to reveal. The 7th and final sign that your wealth is closer than ever is this: unusual confirmations are appearing everywhere, patterns that seem too consistent to be coincidence, messages that feel directly aimed at you, encounters that provide exactly what you needed to hear, synchronicities that multiply until denial becomes impossible. These confirmations are heaven's way of assuring you that what you sense is accurate, that the other signs you've recognized are correctly interpreted, that the manifestation is indeed imminent. Let me describe what these confirmations look like. You may have noticed numbers appearing repeatedly, particularly numbers associated with divine timing, completion, or abundance. The same numbers on clocks, receipts, addresses, phone numbers. Repetition that draws your attention and feels significant, even though you cannot logically explain why. You may have noticed messages appearing in unexpected places that speak directly to your situation.
a song that plays with lyrics that address exactly what you've been feeling, a post that appears on your screen that articulates what you've been processing, a book that falls into your hands with content that seems written for your specific circumstances. You may have noticed strangers saying things that confirm your inner knowing. Someone in passing makes a comment that applies to your situation in ways they couldn't have known. A conversation happens that delivers exactly the word you needed. People who don't know your story speak into it with precision. You may have noticed an increase in what most people would call coincidences, events aligning in ways that seem orchestrated, timing working out in ways that feel designed, outcomes occurring that probability alone cannot explain. These synchronicities multiply until the pattern becomes undeniable. Chosen one, these unusual confirmations are the seventh sign. They are heaven communicating through creation. They are God using everything available to assure you that what you sense is accurate. I experienced a flood of confirmations before my breakthrough. Numbers appeared so consistently that I started photographing them. Messages arrived through every possible channel. Strangers spoke words that only God could have directed. The confirmations became so frequent that doubt became impossible. At first I wondered if I was seeing what I wanted to see, if I was interpreting random events through the lens of my desire. But the precision and consistency eliminated that concern. These were not random, they were orchestrated. They were heaven confirming what was approaching. And when the manifestation arrived, I understood the purpose of all those confirmations. They had kept my faith steady through the final stretch. They had prevented the doubt that might have disqualified me. They had assured me again and again that what I sensed was real, and what was coming was close. Chosen one, examine your life. Are unusual confirmations appearing? Do you notice patterns, synchronicities, messages that feel divinely directed? Are the signs too consistent to be coincidence? If so, this is sign number 7. Your wealth is closer than ever. Heaven itself is confirming the imminence of your manifestation. Let me speak to how to properly receive these confirmations. Do not dismiss them as imagination. Do not explain them away with logic. When confirmations multiply beyond random chance, accept that something real is occurring. Heaven is communicating. The question is whether you will listen. At the same time, do not become obsessed with seeking confirmations. Some people begin looking for signs in everything and lose perspective. The confirmations that matter will come to you. You do not need to hunt for them. They will appear in your normal life without you forcing their arrival. The purpose of confirmations is to strengthen faith through the final stretch. The period right before breakthrough is often the most difficult. Doubt intensifies, pressure increases. The enemy attempts final attacks on your belief. The confirmations are heaven's response to that pressure. They are assurance arriving precisely when you need it most. When you receive a confirmation, let it do its work. Let it strengthen your faith. Let it remind you that what you sense is accurate. Let it fortify you against the doubt that attempts to arise. The confirmations are not entertainment. They are spiritual sustenance for the final leg of the journey. I also want you to know that the confirmations may increase in frequency as manifestation approaches. The closer you get, the more heaven tends to communicate. This is both encouragement and preparation. The increasing confirmation signals that the distance is shrinking, that the arrival is near, that the waiting is almost complete. Receive every confirmation with gratitude. Document the ones that feel significant, and let them build a record of heaven's faithfulness that you can return to whenever doubt attempts to rise. Chosen one. You have now heard the 7 signs that indicate wealth is closer than ever. Let me name them once more. Sign 1. Your peace is no longer dependent on your circumstances. Sign 2. Your tolerance for what is beneath you has collapsed. Sign 3. Ideas and clarity are arriving without effort. Sign 4. Old relationships are shifting or ending. Sign 5. Your discernment about people has sharpened dramatically. Sign 6. You are experiencing unexplainable confidence about the future. Sign 7. Unusual confirmations are appearing everywhere. How many of these signs do you recognize in your life right now? Be honest with yourself. Not how many do you want to recognize, how many are actually present. If you recognize 1 or 2, preparation is happening, but may have further to go. This is not discouragement. It is information that helps you cooperate with the process. If you recognize 3 or 4, you are in the advanced stages of preparation. Manifestation is approaching. Continue to remain faithful and watchful.
If you recognize 5, 6, or all 7, chosen one, your wealth is extremely close. The signs are overwhelming. The preparation is nearly complete. What you have been waiting for is about to break through. Regardless of how many signs you recognize, let me tell you what to do in this season. First, do not rush what is approaching. The signs indicate closeness, not arrival. Continue to steward the waiting with wisdom. Do not make impulsive decisions because you sense something is near. Let the manifestation arrive in its proper timing. Second, protect your peace. The peace that has formed is essential for what is coming. Guard it intentionally. Avoid conversations, environments, and relationships that threaten it. That peace is not just a blessing to enjoy, it is equipment you will need. Third, honor the relational shifts. Do not force connections that are fading. Do not cling to relationships that are shifting. Allow the reorganization to happen. The space being created is necessary for what is coming. Fourth, write down the ideas and clarity you receive. Document the insights that arrive. They are not random thoughts. They are instructions you will need. Capture them before they fade. Fifth, trust your discernment. If you sense something is off about a person or opportunity, trust that sense. Do not override your perception with wishful thinking. The discernment that has developed is there to protect you. Sixth, let the confidence strengthen your patience. The unexplainable knowing you carry is meant to sustain you through the final stretch. Let it do its work. Let it keep you steady while the manifestation completes its approach. Seventh, receive the confirmations as assurance. Do not dismiss them as coincidence. Let them build your faith. Let them remind you that heaven is aware of your situation and actively communicating with you. Chosen one, take a breath and let this moment settle into your spirit. What you have just received is not information, it is confirmation. Confirmation that the signs you have noticed are real. Confirmation that what you have sensed is accurate. Confirmation that your wealth is closer than ever before. I speak acceleration over your manifestation. May the final distance between sign and substance collapse rapidly. May what has been prepared in the invisible become visible without further delay. I speak protection over your peace. May the calm that has formed in you remain unshaken. May no circumstance, no conversation, no person disturb the foundation that has been established. I speak wisdom over your relational transitions. May you release what needs releasing without grief that delays you. May you receive what is coming without attachment to what is leaving. I speak clarity over your mind. May the ideas and insights continue flowing. May the knowledge behind your wealth complete its download. May understanding increase daily until the full picture is clear. I speak discernment over your interactions. May your ability to perceive people accurately strengthen further. May protection operate through perception. May nothing and no one exploit what God is releasing. I speak confidence over your waiting. May the unexplainable certainty deepen. May doubt find no foothold. May the knowing that has formed carry you through the final stretch. I speak multiplication over your confirmations. May the signs increase until the manifestation appears. May heaven continue speaking through everything around you. May assurance compound until doubt is impossible. Chosen one, the signs have spoken. 7 indicators confirming what your spirit already knew. Your wealth is not a distant hope. It is an approaching reality. The preparation is complete or nearly complete. The manifestation is imminent. If this word resonated with your spirit, subscribe to stay connected. This channel carries words that confirm what heaven is doing. And comment 777 if you recognize these signs in your life. Let that number become your declaration of agreement with what is approaching. Comment your city or nation. Mark the location where this word landed, where these signs are being recognized, where wealth is closer than ever before. Go forward, chosen one. The signs are clear. The preparation is evident. The manifestation is imminent. What you have been waiting for is closer than it has ever been. Your breakthrough has almost arrived.